My NBN's not working. I think someone's hacking I think someone has set up my NBN wrong. I have a weird feeling it's someone like Bill Gates or someone who's just not doesn't like my posts, and he's set up some sort of strange configuration of my NBN so it goes somewhere else. So I'm having to do all this through my phone. I can't use my NBN. It won't post to YouTube, but the phone works, but the NBN doesn't. So I give up. I don't know what these freaks want from me, but anyway, just posting things about myself. So I don't know why it bothers anyone else. Anyway, I was thinking before about I did my universe sort of post, and I was just lying here just thinking about other things I wanted to do, like doing TV or something, and if I had my own little TV show or something like that. And I was thinking about all the different sort of topics that might come up, and for some reason I sort of thought, what if people ask me what I think of Aboriginal people, and because I'm in Australia, what would they think of, how do you deal with Aboriginal culture and the problems that arise from, white settlement living with Aboriginals or Indigenous, however you want to say it. And I was just lying here thinking about it, and I hope Bill Gates isn't scanning me or something, because it feels like either the Wi-Fi or something to do with the Wi-Fi is infecting this household here. They've set it up strange. I don't know. From the get-go, it went to some other person's address, and I said, the Wi-Fi's not working, my NBN's not working, it's gone to some other address. And they didn't fix it. I've sent several emails, and I've never had a response, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so yeah, I was thinking about that question. How do you deal with Aboriginal culture? Being a white person, or what are my views on the whole thing? And I had it beautifully in my mind, sort of before I started getting upset when the internet wasn't working. And I sort of thought, sort of going back, that really, if you relate it to nature, if you relate the whole experience of white settlement to nature, like another species overtaking another species area, like white people have sort of come into this Aboriginal territory and taken over, and built buildings and sort of made it their territory. And in nature, certain animals will come into another animal's territory, but they'll fight a bit. They'll sort of fight and try and dominate the area, but then after some time, they tend to create a symbiosis. This word popped in my head earlier. I sort of said it with the Big Bang theory too, the idea of symbiosis, but I like that word anyway. But so yeah, they tend to form a symbiosis, different species of animal. They might fight a bit, they might kill each other a bit, but in the end they settle, and one helps the other sort of adapt. And it might be a little bird on the back of an elephant, where the elephant's taking over the bird's nesting area, but the elephant will bring in little parasites on the back of its back for the birds to go and eat, where it can't find otherwise, so or maybe ants take over an echidna nest, but they sort of work together, and the echidna ends up just finding food, eating the ants, so not saying we go around eating Aboriginal people, but or vice versa. But what I'm saying is that in the end, you find your strengths and weaknesses, and you learn to adapt, and you learn to use those to help each other, and then it's better than one trying to dominate the other. It's better working together. And and creating an environment where you both can prosper, So that's my whole idea of view on the whole Aboriginal culture, white settlement. It's no good just thinking, oh, whites weren't here, so we have to get rid of them, or, blacks, they've been here too long, so we have to get rid of them, whites should dominate, or it's best just learn from each other, and because, we wouldn't survive anyway without the blacks here. Or Aboriginal people, we'd use up too many resources, and we'd, ruin nature. They're there to remind us. Sit, enjoy nature, go bushwalking. Forage, look for food, all that sort of stuff. And, hunt, keep the rivers clean. Respect nature, respect the earth. As your mother or whatever. So their influence there is very practical and very helpful to keeping the place sane. Keeping the place. The sanity of Aboriginal people is very important too to the overall sustainability of life, in this country, really. So I think it's the same in any country where another civilization's come and dominated another one. And eventually the two might blend together. You might say we're different races or different species or different, of human being, but in the end we're still human, aren't we? We're still the same. So we might all end up blended together into a different sort of type of race of people. And it's not just Aboriginals and whites too. You've got all the other different races who make their home here now. Chinese, Japanese, Middle Eastern, Indian. What am I missing? All hundreds and hundreds of different races now that come in from all sorts of different places. So, the Negro, African, or African American, or African, or whatever else. They're all sort of quite common finding in Australia now too. So, and becoming more accepting in each other. Hopefully, more symbiosis or symbiotic. We learn to help each other. I have this idea. It sounds probably a bit strange to some people, but I have this idea that white people do actually have supremacy in some ways. That somehow we've tended to keep ahead of the evolutionary steps. We sort of, maybe we're here a bit longer, and we've sort of taken steps away from more tribal, sort of traditional sort of living, and built bigger houses, bigger cities, boats, whatever else, probably a bit ahead of the other races. We sort of got a bit ahead. But it's not just that. It's I think in a probably a perfect world, we'd have sort of more of a power play where white people would probably be more the pioneers, probably administrators. We'd probably do more administrative sort of stuff, and the other races tend to be better at sort of power work, like a lot of Asians love cooking. They do have all their restaurants. Black people tend to like doing a lot of physical stuff, being big and strong, and Middle Eastern, and I'm not saying whites don't as well, but I'm just saying generally, it tends to be a bit of a sort of a master of the house servant sort of role, sort of going around. Sort of that's how I see the world. Probably would be more peaceful in a way. Like you might have a few Asian servants do the housework, or some black guys help with the gardening or fixing the pool, or and sort of have this sort of, because I think races are important to keep the exotic traditions, and the different nature of races and different exotic sort of feeling of different people is quite what's alluring for some people. So, you might find a little white household has a few Asian servants, some black guys out in the garden or whatever, Middle East and doing the mechanics or whatever. Yeah, they might do a bit of sex play, but it might work the other way. There might be sort of like the little Asian servants might tie up the master of the house in the bedroom and then become the masters of the bedroom domain, where they take the power and, you know, do a bit of bondage or something. Sounds funny, but I just think it would work. I just think that whole idea that white people in the houses is sort of almost sexual. The energy we have is sort of sexual in a way, just so that domineering force, and then to actually swap it around, and maybe the wife gets the five black guys on her and from the pool, doing the mowing, and they're all going at her, like who's the master now? It's just a bit of a play. It doesn't mean these roles are that important. It's just sort of a setup for different households, like it could even work the other way in say an Asian household. But I just can't imagine they'd want servants like we would. They just seem different like that. I don't. I think they like their privacy, just their little family. But white people tend to be a bit more egotistical, a bit full of themselves. I don't know. It just tends to be the sort of the way it seems to me, but I might be wrong. But I think in a accepting society, that whole construct could work. That whole hierarchy, whatever you want to call it. Power play. Yeah. Anyway, so I think having different races and different roles is cool. I think it's nice to have the. I mean, Simpsons is a bad example, but you might see, the Indian guy at the Quickie Mart. If that was an Indian guy, if it was another white guy, and Homer walked in, it just wouldn't be as funny, would it? I don't know. It's nice having the Apu at the Quickie Mart. I don't know. People who disagree say, "Oh, it's racist." And it's not. It's like defining race doesn't make you a racist. It's um, just an interest, seeing differences, and we do have different behaviours. I've been going to school and people behave differently. You just notice it, like. Um, anyway, I mean, Asian people always seem really eager to sort of serve you and give you food, and I mean, in the end, you wouldn't even need money really. You could just work and do your roles and love serving each other, and like I say, probably the white people would be better at the administrative sort of stuff, running, pioneering new ideas and stuff like that. But anyway, just food for thought. Symbiosis. That's the message. All working together